The next step in the assessment of the motor system, you have to check for the tone. Really, the tone is defined as the passive resistance felt by the examiner when he or she moves a joint. So it is undertaken as the following. We have to move the joints. First of all, we will move the upper limb joints, and then we will move the lower limb joint, taking in account that the movement should be firstly in a slow speed and then in a fast rhythm, and this is important also in the interpretation. So first of all, I'll ask the patient to relax. بس اريدك ترخي أنا راح أحرك أصابعك وغيرهن. First of all, you have to flex and extend the finger, and then you have to flex and extend the wrist and rotate it. Really here, if you suspect that the patient had rigidity in the form of cogwheel rigidity, that is not 100%, that you are not 100% sure of that, you can ask the patient to make reinforcement. بس هاي سمونا ايدك وافتحها ايملي, just like this. هاي عشت ايدك. And then you have to flex and extend the elbow joint. After that you have to adduct and abduct, and then circumduction, just like this. And you have to check also the other hand, flexion and extension. Here is flexion and extension, rotation also, flexion, extension, adduction, abduction, and then circumduction. Once you finish that in a slow movement, you have to check it in a fast movement, just like this. And then you have to check the next part also, or the contralateral part. This is with respect to the upper limb. After that, ask the patient to be in supine position. بس تقدر تنطلح هنا وتنطلح رجليك. To check for the lower limb, first of all, we will take an attention to the hip. الترخي جسمك. Okay, just like this, in a slow speed. And then for the knee, and then for the ankle joint, ترخينا لا رخي رجلك. Yes, just like this. And then at a higher speed, yes. Why this process? Why we have to take in this process into speeds? Really, the abnormalities of the tone may take the form of hypertonia, that's to say an increase in the tone, and this hypertonia may take the form of spasticity or the rigidity. Really, in spasticity usually affect the anti-gravity muscle, that's to say the flexor muscle of the upper limbs and the extensor muscle of the lower limb. You have to identify that. Or may take the form of rigidity. Rigidity is of two types: either the cogwheel rigidity, in which there is alternate contraction of the agonist and antagonist muscle, or may take the form of lead pipe rigidity, in which the muscle or the tone is increased all over the range of movement. Usually the best side to detect cogwheel rigidity is at the wrist, and we had already shown the process of reinforcement, while the lead pipe rigidity is usually detected at the lower limb. This is with respect to the hypotonia. This is with respect to hypertonia. If the patient may have also hypotonia due to a variety of causes, if we suspect hypotonia really during the process of examination, we can, just like this, we can move the forearm. As you see, this is the normal process, but patients who have flabby joints, this is usually due to hypotonia. And the same thing here, when you rocking the hip, patient, this is normal tone, but patient who have hypotonia, you will see that the ankle joint and the foot is or had flappy movement. This is with respect to the hypotonia. We have another type of abnormality in the tone, which is paratonia. This is usually detected due to frontal lobe disease and in patients who have diffuse brain disease. In this type, really, you will see that the patient, during the slow movement of joint, the patient have normal tone. But once you increase, or the rhythm became fast of movement, you will see that the tone is also increased. And the pathology, as I said, is due to diffuse brain atrophy and in patients with frontal lobe disease. The last abnormality in the tone is what we call the myotonia. Myotonia is defined as an increase or sudden increase in the tone after sustained contraction. Really, we can identify myotonia via special tests. First of all, we can ask the patient to make a fist. بس سوي هيك افتح ايدك. Okay, patient who have myotonia after this sustaining of contraction, هنزلها براحتك. He had slow opening. This is due to myotonia, or we can contract, or we can really tapping or strike the thinner muscle here, just like this, and we will see that there is adduction and persistent dimpling here. This is 2, and we can also perform myotonia in the tongue with the tongue depressor. We can press there, and lastly we can ask the patient to cough. بس تخلينا ايدك وقح. Patient who have myotonia, when he cough, he can't open his eye after coughing. And in myotonia, you have to check whether the myotonia is associated with dystrophy, muscle dystrophy, or not. All these steps and the processes are dealing with the tone of the